As a co-pilot or pilot, have you experienced any maintenance issues on the 7X or the 8X? And what insights would you share with a pilot or an owner considering this type of aircraft?
Well, I haven't had any AOGs or any on the road issues with the airplane because I haven't been operating or flying them long enough in the capacity I'm in now to have that. But what I could tell you to mitigate that out is, we use a company called Inline Aviation that I know the owner of the company. He's been a Falcon guy for 30 plus years and has several of them under his management. He's just specific to the maintenance side of it. Having that depth of knowledge and level of expertise, not just amongst his, but a crew of individuals, which is what he has, just really puts us at ease, because anytime we sense a sneeze with the airplane, I call and discuss it, and we get this is what we're going to do, and it's fixed and it's ready to go. So, it's like health, your own personal health. The more you invest in it, the more likely you are to have a healthy result. Right. So I think it doesn't matter what airplane it is, to invest in a good scheduled maintenance and not deferring things because you don't want to be bothered or the owner might not want to pay for it. Well, in my mind, you shouldn't own an airplane if you don't want to pay for it. I own and operate a B-58 Baron, and if it's so much as sneezes, I'm bringing it up to the airplane doctor to make sure it doesn't have a cold, because I put my family on it. So absolutely, yeah. I think in the long run, you might think you're spending more money, but I think you're actually saving money, and you're maintaining the pedigree of the airplane. So I've given you a long-winded answer, but at the end of the day, from a maintenance perspective, I'd invest in a great mechanic and a great maintenance shop, and I wouldn't be shy bringing it to them to make sure that the airplane is always ready to go. Because that's what your owners want. Your owners don't want having an AOG or having downtime because you thought you were saving them a couple bucks. Makes no sense to me at all.
Right. That's a great point. Finally, a couple of personal questions to finish out our time together. What's the craziest story you have about aviation or flying?
I survived an airplane crash.
Wow.
On my first complex lesson, and the instructor lied about his time in the airplane. It was a Comanche 260. And I was doing a touch and go, and I was off on the rudder because I went from 160 horsepower airplane to a 260 horsepower airplane. And I said to him, hey, do you mind if we stop and talk about it? And he's like, no, you're doing great. And I said, you're the Gold SEAL instructor. And I did the best touch and go, and we went around and the engine quit. And what saved my life was model airplanes, because I had 1,000 times before landed my model airplanes when the engine quit. So I pushed the nose over, and when I did, the engine started back up, and I got 90 degrees of the turn, and then it quit and got back to the field and crashed through the trees and cartwheeled and came to a stop. And I moved my fingers, I moved my toes, I pinched the cheeks of my butt.
Yeah.
And then I looked over to my right, and the instructor had hit his lip. He was knocked out and he was bleeding. So I grabbed him and pulled him out of the airplane. And what had happened was I found out that he had only flown the airplane about 40 minutes before. And so it was, I was maybe 23, 24. And from that point on, I always swore I was going to make sure I vetted things. And my career at Flight Safety always made me realize that it was much better to invest in getting what you know, or ensuring you get what you know versus assuming you get what you're buying.
Right.
And so that's why training was so passionate to me, and safeties became such a passionate thing, because I could have easily been killed and I wasn't. So that's the craziest thing that's happened to me in aviation.
What a story. What's been your favorite trip?
I got to go to Australia with some of my friends from Dassault years ago, where we were flying the airplane Deadhead to Australia. So being able to take a brand new type private jet with some of your best friends and go in flip-flops and T-shirts and a short and stop in Hawaii and have dinner and then go on to Australia and and get off the airplane like you're a rock star when you're absolutely the furthest thing from it was probably one of my favorite moments in.
Yeah, that sounds like a good one.
In aviation. And then I would say, just, it's going to sound corny, but I tell everybody my headaches are other people's dreams. I wake up every day and I play with model airplanes. I fly real airplanes. I make my living in all aspects of the industry. And to be able to do that and never feel like it's a job, and it never has, even on its worst moment, is just a gift. So like I like to say, my headaches are other people's dreams.
Thanks so much for joining me, Tom. We are always looking to hear from our other insiders. If you own, pilot, manage, finance, maintain, or insure aircraft, we want to hear your insights. Visit wepush10.com/insider insights to submit what you love or hate about any aircraft.